It's Countdown Cricket, a brand new way for us to play this summer. To bowl, bat and field, to be confident and take our chances. This is our game.
Making new friends, challenging ourselves, and always having fun. This is our game. Dynamo's cricket is our game.
At Barrett's, it is now easier, quicker and safer to buy your new used vehicle online. Whether you're on the computer, tablet or phone, you can browse our stock from the comfort of your own home. Refine and filter your search online by make, model and even budget. When browsing, you'll be able to see pictures, videos and a 360 view of the car you've selected. Your dedicated sales specialist will be on hand to send you a personalised walk-around video answering any questions you may have. You can use our digital finance calculator to tailor the car to a budget that suits you. Alternatively, you can speak to a member of our team via telephone, email, live chat or virtual appointments. Reserving your car online for £99 is simple, affordable and refundable. We ensure that every car is sanitised for your safety and peace of mind before handover. Barrett's, in partnership with Kent County Cricket Club. Together, we are Kent.
I get confident because my friends can sport me, like when you're about to hit the ball, you can get sport.
There are lots of children who can't access absolutely everything, and for this, there's no one at our school that wouldn't be able to do it. They were absolutely loving it on the way here. We had really happy kids actually, all of them really pleased to get together. They're making friends with children in different year groups with different interests. A lot of them are quite shy, quite reserved, and here it is a very different ball game.
After I first go cricket, I really scared to play, and now I'm calm. After it's so amazing and stuff.
And you have your friends with you, don't you?
Yes, or 2 of my friends with me. If I don't have them, I will be lonely. Now I'm out this place, I'm really happy. Really, really, really happy. Yes.
Adrian brings together pretty much every aspect of a good coach that you could ask for. He's got a great relationship with children, he builds good relationships with teachers, and he works really hard to engage with his local clubs and street cricket sessions to make sure children know where they can go if they want to continue playing cricket.
The impact the children have had since Adrian's been coming, they absolutely love it. I often get asked at the beginning of the week, when's he in? He is the highlight of their week. They really, really look forward to the sessions and they find them so enjoyable and rewarding.
He turns boring things into really fun games, and you can also play it with your friends.
Have fun, that is the most important thing, isn't it? Agreed? I really love being a cricket coach. It's something that I get tremendous enjoyment out of. I look forward to every day at work and have a great time, and hopefully that radiates onto the children. I'd love to see more of the youngsters who are behind us here getting involved at club level and enjoying the game for many years to come.
We're extremely proud as a county, and we're incredibly fortunate to have him. The fact that he gets such glowing feedback wherever he goes is an inspiration to us as a team. We're a very lucky county to have him delivering a programme like Chance to Shine.
I would describe Adrian as amazing.
Friendly.
Fun.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Inspiring.
He's the greatest teacher of all.
I think probably like a lot of people, I fell into it. I was working in town in a sales job, which was good in lots of ways, but didn't really suit me. I like being outside. I like working with kids as well.
We first met James when he came to us to fulfil the role of our mascot, Victor, at one of our school competitions. He made such an impression on the team that we explored with him the opportunity of becoming a coach. On a normal year, James will work in best part of 20 schools that will take him near to seeing sort of 900 children on a fairly regular basis.
Cricket is the vehicle that we use to give children the chance to learn and develop. So we're looking to improve their social skills, there's some leadership and communication involved with that. There's a whole array of other soft skills, if you like, that they're using.
I like James as a coach because he includes everybody. He makes it really fun by doing lots of fun games and helping us a lot.
It's been really useful on a professional level from my point of view to watch how James adapts the activities to make it suitable for the less able, but also to challenge those that are really sporty and are enjoying it.
In terms of how valuable James is to Kent, I mean, short of wanting to take him to a lab so that we can create a few more James Reeds to service all of the schools across the county, I mean, he's phenomenal.
So I think children who are maybe less traditionally sporty than some of the other kids can find their niche in cricket.
I missed the ball completely and they hit the scums who'd still say, good try, carry on, you can get it next round, and encouragement and stuff. He is the kindest coach I've ever known of.
James is a phenomenal candidate for the Coach of the Year award because of the pride and thought that he takes into his work in order to spread the power of cricket to the children he works with.
I just want the kids to have had fun playing cricket. I don't mind whether they bowl with a straight arm, whether they stand in the right way or hold the bat in an interesting way. That's not what I'm here to do. As long as they say, yeah, cricket, that's good, that's all I want.
I love playing cricket and thanks for teaching us. I don't want the cricket to end. Thank you for being such a great cricket teacher.
ground cricket, a brand new way for us to play this summer. To bowl, bat and field, to be confident and take our chances. This is our game.
Making new friends, challenging ourselves, and always having fun. This is our game. Dynamo's cricket is our game.
At Barrett's, it is now easier, quicker and safer to buy your new used vehicle online. Whether you're on the computer, tablet or phone, you can browse our stock from the comfort of your own home. Refine and filter your search online by make, model and even budget. When browsing, you'll be able to see pictures, videos and a 360 view of the car you've selected. Your dedicated sales specialist will be on hand to send you a personalised walk-around video answering any questions you may have. You can use our digital finance calculator to tailor the car to a budget that suits you. Alternatively, you can speak to a member of our team via telephone, email, live chat or virtual appointments. Reserving your car online for £99 is simple, affordable and refundable. We ensure that every car is sanitised for your safety and peace of mind before handover. Barrett's, in partnership with Kent County Cricket Club. Together, we are Kent.
Because my friends can sport me, like when you're about to hit the ball, you can get sport.
There are lots of children who can't access absolutely everything, and for this, there's no one at our school that wouldn't be able to do it. They were absolutely loving it on the way here. We had really happy kids actually, all of them really pleased to get together. They're making friends with children in different year groups with different interests. A lot of them are quite shy, quite reserved, and here it is a very different ball game.
After I first go cricket, I really scared to play, and now I'm calm. After it's so amazing and stuff.
And you have your friends with you, don't you?
Yes, or 2 of my friends with me. If I don't have them, I will be lonely. Now I'm out this place, I'm really happy. Really, really, really happy. Yes.
Adrian brings together pretty much every aspect of a good coach that you could ask for. He's got a great relationship with children, he builds good relationships with teachers, and he works really hard to engage with his local clubs and street cricket sessions to make sure children know where they can go if they want to continue playing cricket.
The impact the children have had since Adrian's been coming, they absolutely love it. I often get asked at the beginning of the week, when's he in? He is the highlight of their week. They really, really look forward to the sessions and they find them so enjoyable and rewarding.
He turns boring things into really fun games, and you can also play it with your friends.
Have fun, that is the most important thing, isn't it? Agreed? I really love being a cricket coach. It's something that I get tremendous enjoyment out of. I look forward to every day at work and have a great time, and hopefully that radiates onto the children. I'd love to see more of the youngsters who are behind us here getting involved at club level and enjoying the game for many years to come.
We're extremely proud as a county, and we're incredibly fortunate to have him. The fact that he gets such glowing feedback wherever he goes is an inspiration to us as a team. We're a very lucky county to have him delivering a programme like Chance to Shine.
I would describe Adrian as amazing.
Friendly. Fun. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Inspiring.
He's the greatest teacher of all.
I think probably like a lot of people, I fell into it. I was working in town in a sales job, which was good in lots of ways, but didn't really suit me. I like being outside. I like working with kids as well.
We first met James when he came to us to fulfil the role of our mascot, Victor, at one of our school competitions. He made such an impression on the team that we explored with him the opportunity of becoming a coach. On a normal year, James will work in best part of 20 schools that will take him near to seeing sort of 900 children on a fairly regular basis.
Cricket is the vehicle that we use to give children the chance to learn and develop. So we're looking to improve their social skills, there's some leadership and communication involved with that. There's a whole array of other soft skills, if you like, that they're using.
I like James as a coach because he includes everybody.
He makes it really fun by doing lots of fun games and helping us a lot.
It's been really useful on a professional level from my point of view to watch how James adapts the activities to make it suitable for the less able, but also to challenge those that are really sporty and are enjoying it.
In terms of how valuable James is to Kent, I mean, short of wanting to take him to a lab so that we can create a few more James Reeds to service all of the schools across the county, I mean, he's phenomenal.
So I think children who are maybe less traditionally sporty than some of the other kids can find their niche in cricket.
I missed the ball completely and they hit the slums. He would still say, good try, carry on, you can get it next round, and encouragement and stuff.
He is the kindest coach I've ever known of.
James is a phenomenal candidate for the Coach of the Year award because of the pride and thought that he takes into his work in order to spread the power of cricket to the children he works with.
I just want the kids to have had fun playing cricket. I don't mind whether they bowl with a straight arm, whether they stand in the right way or hold the bat in an interesting way. That's not what I'm here to do. As long as they say, yeah, cricket, that's good, that's all I want.
I love playing cricket and thanks for teaching us.
I don't want the cricket to end.
Thank you for being such a great cricket teacher.
ladies and gentlemen, a quick line test before we go live at 11 o'clock for day 3 of Kent against Yorkshire. The visitors resuming here at Canterbury, 6 for no wicket, 120 runs ahead. Your commentary team today, Matt Cole, John Doidge and Fabian Cowdery joining us as well for this Saturday's play. morning, everyone. It is day 3 of Kent against Yorkshire here at Canterbury, the Spitfire Ground, St Lawrence. Bathed in sunshine this morning. We've got some big fluffy clouds though as well, with a bit of grey in them. I don't think we're expecting any precipitation, but probably another brisk easterly wind, which I heard so much on the commentary the last couple of days from Jonathan and Ben, trying to protect themselves from the elements. Matt Milnes to bowl the first ball of the day around the wicket. Adam Lyth, he's beaten the outside edge through to the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. She played forward about Adam Lyth. Matt Cole alongside me, Jonathan Deutsch from BBC Leeds and all the Yorkshire stations. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
And a good day for Yorkshire. Day 2, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Put themselves in a strong position here. Obviously got a bit of work to do to make it into a match-winning lead.
They start 120 runs ahead, 6 for none, having bowled Kent out yesterday. Milnes round the wicket to Lyth. A little bit thickish on the outside edge actually, but it's gone all the way along the ground, so no danger, no alarms for Yorkshire, and through for 4 past Joe Denley. Milnes just shows a little bit of frustration there, a bit of a shrug and shut head, but Lyth's kept it so well on the ground that no problem for him. They're on to 10 for none. And this pitch is, well, it's not the liveliest, I think it's fair to say, is it? But Yorkshire bowled really well yesterday, it sounded like.
They did. Yeah, there was a period in the afternoon where things never really got away from them, but they had to sort of consolidate with the ball, if you will. A couple of good stands for Kent.
It's Milnes then, still round the wicket to the left-handed Adam Lyth. 2 slips in behind, a Cox and a Crawley through the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. So chances will probably be at a premium for the Kent bowlers, but it's pretty much what Darren Stevens said yesterday, was Yorkshire just bowled really well, and Kent probably should have batted better. That was his assessment.
Yeah, the Yorkshire bowlers showed good discipline. I was talking to Jordan Thompson this morning about his spell. He wasn't too happy with himself. First day back with the ball in his hand, missed the first game of the season, but I think otherwise everybody was pretty pleased.
Yeah. It sounded like they just played better yesterday. Milnes to Lyth, that's through the covers, lovely shot. I was going to say a little bit uppish, but probably only a foot off the ground. That's 4 runs through the offside. That really would be churlish. Second 4 in this over, and Lyth goes on to 14, and we are 14 for none, in fact. I think we're just going to come and going to do an 11 o'clock update into our news with Gabby right now. So Lyth 14. Yorkshire on the third day are batting on. They lead by 128 now. 14 for none. Adam Lyth has hit a couple of really smart strokes through the offside. The Yorkshire opener for 2 fours off the first over of the day from Matt Milnes. So 14 for none Yorkshire, 128 lead after bowling Kent out for 265 yesterday. Kent's task is to bowl as tightly as possible on what looks like a difficult pitch to bowl on, and try and winkle these Yorkshire batsmen out. Another 4 though in this first over. It's not a great start for Kent. They need to do better. Commentary continuing via the BBC Sport website and app. So yeah, through the third man position there. Just took my eye off the balls. I was watching the scoreboard there to make sure I got the update right. What was the shot there, Jonathan? Was it a run down to third man?
Yeah, it was probably just a little bit wide of off stump. It's obviously again difficult for us to tell precisely from where we are, but he just laid his bat on it really. So already the third man has been dispatched, and down to just 1 slip in the cordon. It's got to be a concern from a Kent perspective.
Yeah, this first over, 12 off it. That looks like a good ball. Actually, it squirted out of Rory Robinson's gloves as well. I don't think there's much lateral movement, so you won't be particularly pleased with that. But first ball looked like it really tested Adam Lyth. But end of the over, he's got 3 fours from it, so definitely advantage Yorkshire first over of the day. 18 for none.
Yeah, and just referring back to the bowling, as you mentioned earlier in the over before that update, Yorkshire were pleased with their disciplines with the ball. I asked Steve Patterson about the fielded set, and obviously not being here you wouldn't have seen that, but there was a lot of fielders in front of the bat rather than we normally get with the seam bowlers behind the bat. And he said it was just such a slow and low pitch. He was trying to block up the runs in front because it was never going to be the sort of pitch where you'd have a 3-4 man cordon and the ball was going to carry that often to them, and it just meant that for much of the day Kent was sort of squeezed up in terms of where they could find runs. Yeah, there were a couple of sweepers back and they did get milked to some extent, and I say, when I mentioned speaking to Jordan Thompson, he said, what did you think? And I said, well, it just looked from where we were sitting like maybe both sides of the wicket, and he said, yeah, I was probably dropping it on leg stump and then doing too much the other way at times, but certainly not a bad spell. Just one of those first ones of the season as Grant Stewart is in for the first ball of the day from this pavilion end, and that nips away, I think, down the hill from Tom Kohler-Cadmore, plays inside it. TKC played out the second over last night, and it was a maiden, so he's yet to score. Adam Lyth, well, he's just in flying form at the start of the season, 50 odd and a ton last week, 97 in the first innings here, lots of big gaps around, and anything that's remotely loose at the moment he looks to be punishing, as he did in that first over. Let's see what Grant Stewart can produce then. Right arm over the wicket, Tom Kohler-Cadmore just leans into that and pushes it up to mid-off. There's no run. Let's not forget, of course, no Harry Podmore in the Kent attack here, and I did put that question to Steve Patterson last night because he skippered a team against Glamorgan who lost their 2 opening bowlers in the first innings last week, so he knows what that's all about and the difficulties as a captain to try and manage that bowling situation for a full innings, as he's going to have to do here. Daniel Bell-Drummond. So in comes Stewart again, nicely played by Kohler-Cadmore, right over the top of that, and just opens the face and runs it out to the sweeper coming in from the point boundary, so that gets him off the mark on his 9th delivery. Adam Lyth back on strike. Yorkshire 19 without loss. The lead was already, of course, 120 overnight, wasn't it? Yeah.
So the first innings lead 114, and they had 6 for none, didn't they, on the board? So yeah, this is already looking like an imposing lead from Yorkshire. And Kent's task of just saying in the radio update, I mean, they have to keep it very tight, but actually they need to take wickets here, or they're going to be out of sight pretty quickly, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the key, isn't it? Can they take wickets and just keep chipping away at Yorkshire and stopping any momentum? Because if these two get going, Lyth working it to leg. I got plenty of flack, of course, because I took the mic from Fultz when he was on 90. He just got to 97 in the first innings. And I said, I think I better just do this next delivery, you never know. And of course, what happened the next delivery? He got out.
You can't trust a cricketer, can you? Really, honestly. I hope you tore him off a strip.
We've had words. Stop making life difficult for me, Budge, was the comment back at the hotel. Here's Stewart coming in again from the pavilion end, and we've seen 3 leg side strangles or flicks that have brought wickets, and Adam Lyth was having a little flick at that down the leg side. I've got to say, both keepers in this game, there were a few buys off Ollie Robinson, but he's hard to take that, I guess, from his point of view, because he kept really well in Yorkshire's first innings, and Johnny Tattersall likewise took a couple of belting catches. Jokingly saying to him this morning, I thought you were levitating for a few seconds for one of those yesterday. It might have been the Ollie Robinson dismissal. Now then, Adam Lyth out in the face and just pushing this ball short of length out to the sweeper on the point boundary, top side of the ground here. Picks up another single, 19 to him, 22 without loss.
Yeah, just no ball the previous ball, wasn't it? So 2 had the total as well. So Kent can afford these runs going astray, but I said that basically you can't afford to be bested for a whole day in the county championship, not with this format, I would suggest. You're directly up against people that in these small groups that you're going to be competing with for a top 2. It's early yet, I know, but Yorkshire definitely on top here.
It is. I know after the Glamorgan performance last week, plenty of people suggesting that they would be delighted to emerge from here with a draw. Stewart is in to Kohler-Cadmore. That's been dropped out backward of point. Man out of the cordon runs round to do the fielding, and they get through for another single. So he's on 2 at the end of Yorkshire's 4th over of this second innings. They're 23 without loss, leading by 137. Yeah, there was a bit of doom and gloom last week because there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk last season that they had a chance of winning the Bob Willis Trophy, and I have to say, and apologies Yorkshire fans for hearing this for the umpteenth time, but and saying it to Matt for the first time, I've got to say that there was a distinct lack of luck with the weather last year. Yes, they didn't do themselves any harm on a couple of occasions without getting batting points, but I reckon they could have got a couple of positive results had they not lost 4 full days, an entire match basically to the weather. So having seen what they could do and top the group but without getting to the final, there was clearly going to be some talk of championships this year, and so that it was a bit of just a flat, lacklustre performance, not almost undercooked if you like for the first game of the season, and they'd had quite a few warm-up preparation games before it. So maybe this is just that was the sting that they needed to kick them into gear for this game.
Well, here's an indication of what the pitch is doing. We're in the 5th over of the innings, and the second slip has been taken out, so there's just one slip now, and Zach Crawley's on the drive now on the onside, fairly shortish mid-wicket, 2 strips away. The one Tom Kohler-Cadmore is taking guard on now. Mills coming over the wicket, the right armour, and whipped off his pads there. It's gone fairly wide. Sounded very paddy, that one, but he's got something on it. The trajectory suggested certainly that it's come off the willow. Single taken down to Grant Stewart, who's fielding at a deep, fine leg. But yeah, optimistic talk from Kent pre-season as well, and you can understand that. They ran, I thought they came 4th in their group last year, the Bob Willis Trophy. They were really close to beating Essex in the first game of the campaign, and ifs and buts and maybes, but a draw against Middlesex, and perhaps they could have been a bit more aggressive with the declaration. I think if they'd been on course perhaps for winning the group, they would have done that, but yeah, and that draw against Northants, Mills around the wicket, that's a decent delivery. Certainly Lyle's gone forward to that. I'm afraid our commentary position doesn't really tell us how close he was, how far he was drawn by that, but again, second ball of the over this time, but Mills has deceived him, I think, outside the off stump.
I think the more games I watch at this level, the more you've got to say that it doesn't matter what the apparent disparity on paper of teams is. They're all professional cricketers. They've all got ability, and for any given session or day, makes a big difference if they get it right.
Milnes to Lythe, leaves that straight through to Ollie Robinson. Looks like sort of 4th stump line, that one. Mills staying nice and tight to the stumps. That's what they're going to have to do. But did to concede 3/4 off his first over, 24 for no wicket. So yeah, some optimism. I think I don't think Kent were saying to anyone we're going to win the title this year. But I think their gradual progress, having been promoted, finished 4th in the county championship, good season last year. They're certainly expecting of this squad that they have a reasonable showing, if not more. But Milnes on the wicket too. Oh, he's played that one again through the wicket-keeper, and there is no run. Decent over this one from Milnes so far.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago coming down here, and of course not a great first day for Yorkshire, then a massive second innings score, winning the game quite easily, and then the return game at Headingley, talk about a riposte from Kent and from Darren Stevens, of course, Sam Billings with the ton as well. And I think, did Kent not finish just above Yorkshire in the 2019 championship?
I think so.
In the end, yeah, last game.
Yeah, Kent were 4th in the end, I think, in 2019, and outside the off stump left this time by Lythe, and there's no run. So, I mean, at the start of the season, there is that feeling of optimism among supporters, amongst squads as well as and coaches, because they can see what the development that's happened from their young players, for instance, the experience they've got. But yeah, I think Kent are expecting of their players. They're not saying, we're going to sweep the ball by any means, but they're expecting another improvement. And I suppose by and large that ought to take them, close in this competition. But notwithstanding, as it's played into the offside, defended by Lythe, end of the over, 24 for none. Got to hand the baton to you, because Yorkshire at the moment are besting them in this game, and Kent a bit like Yorkshire, I suppose. Actually, a decent 455 in the first innings against Northants. Time taken out for the weather, about a day lost of that one, and a really flat pitch there as well. So I think they were okay with that, but Yorkshire have done well, especially as you say, without two of their frontline bowlers as well in this one.
Yeah, because if you look back at the Glamorgan performance, this time last week we weren't far away from the 1 o'clock snow shower. They left the field at Saturday lunchtime, and then it just snowed for an hour and a half, and that was it for the day. Tom Kohler-Cadmore facing Grant Stewart, and he's got this one nicked off to first slip, and the first wicket of this Yorkshire second innings has fallen. Tom Kohler-Cadmore, who was in good form in the warm-up games, at the moment is struggling to find some runs in the proper stuff. He's been caught by Jordan Cox at first slip off the bowling of Grant Stewart for 3, and Yorkshire are 24 for 1 second time around.
I'll give credit to Grant Stewart and to Matt Milnes this morning. Milnes perhaps struggling a little bit, was made in the first over, but had a good one the previous over, and Stewart, who's looked lively actually so far this season, getting the edge, and in the end Jordan Cox, it's gone straight into his midriff, and felt like a little bit of a hole as he hit the ground. I was just straining to make sure he caught the catch, but he did hang on to it, and Kohler-Cadmore goes back into the hutch for 3, first wicket of the day, 24 for 1. The lead 138 though for Yorkshire, and this in the 6th over of their second innings.
It's a disappointment for Tom, and that will mean that another Tom will be making his way down the steps opposite, and that will be Tom Loughton. All 6'5" of him. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about Glamorgan, that the snow came down, and whereas Yorkshire could rightly argue that in the last couple of seasons they've had games washed out, or days washed out, that were vital, and have taken away opportunities to win games that I'm sure that they probably would have won, let's say 75% at least of those matches, in real strong positions and with the players at their disposal. And then last week you've got to say that they were up against it, and those 2 sessions that were lost out of the game were to Yorkshire's benefit, so they'll take that, having had it the other way. And also there was a bit of, just felt that Glamorgan didn't really press home any advantage and really try to go for the win on the 4th day either. Billy Root got his 100, as did Chris Cook, and that just took the sort of first hour out of the game. It always looked unlikely from then that unless Yorkshire were desperately poor with the bat, that they'd lose the game. I always fancy them to see out the rest of the day for the draw. So it is Tom Loughton. The cordon has returned here. 3 men in close proximity, I've got to say as well, the 3 slips. Point. As Stewart is in and bounces Loughton, the young Tom Loughton, first ball. Tries to get him on the back foot, see what he's cooking up the rest of the over. 4 deliveries still to go. So 3 slips a point. There's a man at a sort of wideish mid-off come extra cover, with a big gap through the offside in front of the bat, and in fact 3rd slip now being brought straight out after 1 delivery and being moved to mid-wicket where there was a yawning gap. There's a mid-on, deep backward square leg and a long leg. So Stewart in again. Loughton pushes forward, and there's no run. Tom Loughton took his time to get himself in Yorkshire's first innings, and then couldn't go on. He was one of many caught behind by Ollie Robinson, in his case off Podmore for 27. One of those leg side flicks that we've seen in the contest so far, just batting with his back to us here, so naturally with the slope, maybe he thought he'd got it right for the leg side flick, and it just took, half an inch deviation off the pitch perhaps, and that made it into a fine glance that the keeper was able to get across and take a good catch to. Stewart in, and Loughton watches that one go by.
So not many Kent listeners will have seen or perhaps even heard of Tom Loughton before. What's his story, John, as he joins us today? Young cricketer?
Yep, he's been around for a few seasons, as most of the youngsters, playing in the second 11. Some good performances for them. He's had his first team opportunities, but just a smattering in the last couple of seasons. He did get a first-class 50 in the last game of 2019 at Edgbaston. And he's solidly pushing forward back to Grant Stewart, and there's no run. So yeah, promising player, and of course he's filling the void left by Gary Valance here. When I say filling it, he's attempting to fill the void, a considerable void left by Gary Valance, who, for those who weren't aware, I mentioned it yesterday. Andrew Gale said Valance going to be playing in the second team against Gloucester starting on Monday, a 4-day game, and they'll pull him out of that and send him to Hove to play in the first team against Sussex if he's okay, as Loughton gets off the mark with a push up to square leg for a single. So 25 for 1, the end of Stewart's wicket taking over there. 3 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 6. Yorkshire having lost Tom Kohler-Cadmore during it.
Yeah, it's a bright sunshine here. There's a big clouds around, but it's looking okay for the day on the forecast, certainly. Some chilly breeze, I'm told, will be coming in. A lot of talk about that from everybody in the stand, just how freezing it was. Jonathan, but did it snow? It didn't snow, did it? When I was at Northampton last week, sitting in the stand, it snowed there. That's proper cold. I mean, I'm sitting in the sun here and it's baking.
Yes, it is nice at the moment. You'll feel it though this afternoon when the sun gets round there, I promise you. And by 7 o'clock last night, in fact, I think I got back to the hotel at about 8. When Pato walked past me this morning in the hotel, somebody was asking me a question about him, and I said, yeah, and it took about an hour and a half to get ready for his interview last night after the game. I was sitting there in the stand freezing waiting for him, and he said, no.
And Milnes to Loughton outside the off stump, left, no run.
You do tend to exaggerate. It was 45 minutes and he said, sorry, I've not checked my phone and I didn't see the message. So I let him off because he's a good chap. But yeah, it was particularly cold when everybody had gone. Last night the S&C and the coaching staff, the Yorkshire coaching staff, were doing laps of the pitch. Pete Sin and Koo, physio, and Andrew Gale, Paul Grayson, Mark Nesty, the sports psychologist who's travelled down with them, all lapping quite a while as well.
Milnes to Loughton now, solidly behind that one, straight back at the bowler. Applause for Milnes, who's found his radar after that first over, it appears, and there's no run.
I felt like getting out the lip mic and doing a bit of Coleman, you know. The bell. It's Gale on the outside.
But yes, I'm making light because I appreciate that at the moment we're bathed in sunshine, but a chilly wind coming through here, but we do know, and there'll be people at home going, yeah, but you're watching the cricket, we can't get in. So absolutely right on that score. Through to the wicketkeeper, and there's no run. I was most surprised actually a number of times Ben Watt said he was cold, because he is aware that there's a fine for that back at BBC Radio Kent for talking too much about how miserable things are for you as a commentator and not talking enough about the game, you see. So he's racked up massive fines for that. I kept it to a minimum. I thought at Northampton, I mean obviously I am the judge of this, so I've not put much in the bucket. But
no, quite right, and I'd hate to be seen to be putting the boot in, but you know, especially if your co-commentator sits at the side on his mobile phone and he spells off and not even watching the game.
It's the wicketkeeper, there's no.
But I don't want to drop a minute, obviously.
No, I'm just writing that down. So what times were these?
Just as a vague generalisation, just let me check my notes. 11:12 a.m.
Right.
11:17. I think he was off again at 11:50.
Fine. Yeah. Well, we
missed a couple of updates as well. I think at 2 o'clock and 3.
If it's on his work phone, we'll have a log of that anyway. We keep him on a very tight leash, but.
Discipline, I think.
Morning, Dan, if you're listening. Here's Milnes to Loughton, and good to finish a shot that into the offside. Soft hands, and Danny Bell-Drummond picks it up at cover. More importantly, 2 slips in behind Loughton at the moment. It's Ollie Robinson joined by Jordan Cox, who took that catch in the previous over off Grant Stewart, and Zach Crawley at second slip. I was assuming it was Joe Denley at point, but no, he's at square leg. Actually, they've moved across. Is that might be Miguel Cummins at point there? I think. Danny Bell-Drummond at cover, and I know what the listeners are saying. You should put your glasses on, mate. That might help. I think it's the subfielder actually been pushed out towards that. Is that might be Freddie Clarkson towards the point boundary. That's a drive by Loughton, and driven smartly. Actually, at the fielder at mid-wicket there, and picked up. Actually, Zach Clarkson. I'm having trouble with my fielder identification today. This is terrible. They're Kent players too. He's shining the ball. He's got a dark blue cap on it, so it's one of the new lads, and I believe that is Clarkson now, just shining the ball. And we come to the end of the over. 25-1. Yorkshire 139 the lead, losing Tom Kohler-Cadmore to the previous over from Grant Stewart, who's going to take the ball once again for 3, edging into the midriff of Jordan Cox at second slip 4-3. That at 24-1. I'm Matt Cole, alongside me John Doidge for BBC Radio Kent and a number of Yorkshire stations, I think it's fair to say.
Yes, that's a very good catch-all.
We'll do that as a default, and Fabian Cowdery will be joining us later in the morning as well, bring his experience, the former Kent all-rounder, of course. But Yorkshire still very much on the front foot. 25-1, leading by 139 here at Spitfire Ground, St Lawrence.
Grant Stewart then into Adam White. Has not seen much action in the last couple of hours, and he won't see much for a ball or two again now. He's got that away deep backward square leg for a single. So he's on to 20, 26-1, and a shout out this morning to all club cricketers around the nation. There'll be many getting into action for the first time in serious cricket, league cricket. I know a couple of clubs that I'm involved with in various ways are doing. So good luck to the Rawdon boys. The first team playing Ollie Kenyon just up at Ilkley. And they're at home, in fact, in the second 11. North side of Leeds against Old Leos, as Lowton gets solidly behind that and pushes it to short mid-wicket, and there is no run. But wherever you are, if you're just about setting off probably at this point for your match, ready to get limbered up, or maybe you're listening while you're spreading a bit of potted meat on the bread at home to take your own tea along, because that's what you'll have to do at the moment. Buying a couple of liveners for afterwards, maybe to sit at the side of the pitch with your teammates. Hope you have a good day, and it stays sunny because it's pretty parky otherwise, as Stewart's next delivery is pushed into the extra cover region by Tom Lowton. Give no run.
Players not allowed in clubhouses at the moment, are they? I think I'm right in saying so. But yeah, try and keep yourself warm today. That's going to be the key for that around the country, I suppose.
I think there's an ECB directive that no spectators are allowed on the grounds at the clubs unless they are in a seated position with a drink in front of them, a bit like using a beer garden but not being able to come to a cricket match. Stewart in, and well, there's a bit of consternation among keeper and bowling ranks for Kent. Tom Lowton seemed quite comfortable in shouldering arms there, so maybe it was quite close to the top of off stump. That's all we can think from this distance. We are quite a long way away, 125 yards probably from where Tom Lowton's standing, something like that.
The feel I'm getting is that, and I don't think I've just got my Kent glasses on here, but they're bowling pretty well. I think they're keeping it very tight this morning, notwithstanding, as I said, that first over when Adam Lyth just punished a couple of loose balls from Matt Milnes, but otherwise I think they are sticking to the plans pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely better and bottling up more than it was in the first innings. There's a shout here for caught behind. It was bat and ball pitching at the same time as the bat was trying to play it and hitting the ground, I think. And not out.
That's what it felt like, wasn't it? The sound was.
Ian Gould, of course, will switch to this end for the second innings.
Hitting ground rather than ball, but again, it's a decent delivery. He looked just a little bit uncomfortable there, which is what Stewart wants, but they've got to do better than that, Kent. Got to do better than making these Yorkshire batsmen uncomfortable, because Yorkshire, they said 140 ahead with just 1 wicket down in the second innings.
So Stewart, number 9 on his back. He's in past it on by Gould, and nicely played by Tom Lowton, who just opens his body and turns that square on the leg side for a comfortable single to the sweeper. So first half hour or so has gone, and Yorkshire, who resumed on 6 without loss, have added 21 more runs and have lost Tom Kohler-Cadmore. He was the early wicket of Grant Stewart, caught by Jordan Cox at first slip for just the 3. Adam Lyth 20 from his 21 so far, and Tom Lowton's faced 16 balls already for 2. And Stewart with 1 for 8 from 4 overs.
Yeah, he started really well, Grant Stewart. Been really impressed with what he's done from the game at Northants as well. I think he's looked, I'd say he's a yard quicker, but he's looking accurate, Lots of heavy ball as well. Bit of skid off the surface as Milnes bowls to Loughton. Through the wicketkeeper, just looked like Loughton might have followed that one a little bit outside the off stump, and Milnes looks desolate as he walks away. But that's a little bit of his body language normally anyway. A little bit head down, Matt Milnes, as he goes back to his mark. He's not necessarily sulking, just getting on with his work. Going to be updating our BBC Radio Kent listeners very shortly to Steve Ladner's show on this Saturday morning. Once again, we're saying bright sunshine. We're alongside the same level as the players' balcony to our right. Milnes to Loughton. He's played and missed at that one through to the wicketkeeper. And again, Milnes bowling well there. Loughton 2, live 20, 27 for 1. Goes back to his mark. And we're in the travel news now. The update is nigh, I should say. As a fielder's place once again on the drive at mid-wicket, and this will be Loughton. Oh, squared him up, and it's through the slips. It's gone through Jordan Cox. How's that carried? Yeah, you have to say, from the body language from Matt Milnes, that has squirted through the slips, and Jordan Cox is looking sorry for himself. It's gone low. Definite edge from Loughton. You just have to take those half chances really in a game like this where you're so far behind, it feels to me, but easy for me to say. It's gone 4-4. Good bowling again from Matt Milnes. Yes, sunny day for day 3 of Kent against Yorkshire. Steve in the county championship. Yorkshire leading by 145 runs. So 31 for 1, which means that Kent have taken a wicket from their overnight score. Yorkshire of 6 for none. Tom Kohler Cadmore edging to first slip to Jordan Cox into his midriff for 3. Kent's bowlers have done pretty well this morning as well. We've just seen a catch go down. Jordan Cox is the man at first slip, this time spinning a difficult low chance off the bat of Tom Loughton, the Yorkshire batsman. So Kent having been bowled out for 265 yesterday, 114 runs in arrears. They're 145 runs behind now, with Yorkshire 31 for 1, and their task, Kent, is to keep bowling tightly and take those chances. They'll have to bowl out Yorkshire fairly cheaply. You think there's time in this game, but Yorkshire at the moment 145 ahead on 31 for 1, and commentary continuing via the BBC Sport website and app. And Loughton just pushes that into the onside, up to the mid-wicket boundary, just for a single, fielded by Joe Denny. Looked like a tough chance, that one, but...
Well, I just looked at it on the stream and on the replay on the stream, although the sunlight is not ideal for picking up precisely, but it looks as though it might have bounced just short of Jordan Cox, and he just missed out as he was trying to clasp it on the pickup as the ball was on its way back up. So I'd probably, at the moment, on what I've seen, give him the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't a drop chance. It just bisected the first and second slips.
Milnes to Loughton, behind the one, forward defensive, no run. And jarring the back there, you can see Milnes is... he's got a bit of nip as Matt Milnes. He's getting a little bit quicker every year. He bowls, getting more and more confident. His line's getting better as well. End of the over. So I do Jordan Cox a disservice. I apologise for that, because it was just a reaction not only from him but from Matt Milnes as well. I thought, you read the bowling team's body language and they just looked a bit upset, but probably because it's got edge and not carried.
Yep, it's at BBC Kent Sport, at Jonathan Doidge, kentcricket@gmail.com, and BBC West Yorkshire Sport @gmail.com. If you think you saw something different to me, then do let us know. I know we're in the ground and we should be letting you know, but these days is a dual process, given that we've got all these streaming pictures, and I've got to say, when the sun's shining brightly, it is pretty difficult to see the laptop because of that in our commentary position, so you can help us out as well from time to time as Stewart is in and Lyth turns that to leg where Cummins fields, and there is no run, so he's on 20, Loughton on 8, and good morning to you, Marty, as well, who thanks me for the shout out for club cricketers. He'll be turning out for Sorby Bridge up in Halifax this afternoon. And Joe asking if there's any changes to the lunch and tea times today due to the funeral. Stewart is in, and Lyth thinks about playing one of his favourite shots to pull, but in the end decides thinks better of it.
good point, Joe. Absolutely.
We've definitely got a break from 2:50 until 4:10. Now that is an hour because of the funeral, and 20 minutes of it is taken as tea. So that's one of those ticked off. I think lunch-wise, I think we're still at 1 o'clock.
You're absolutely right. Lunch is the same. So 1 o'clock to 1:40 today. We're scheduled to play until 6:30. So those are the hours of play. So presumably, if there is an extra half hour to be taken, I'm not sure. Actually, we've got no overs to make up, have we? But I suppose if the overs go over, we could go beyond 6:30, I think.
Yeah, we have done already, sort of thing. So Stuart in, Lyth thinks about a leg side flick, but steps across and leaves it.
So we don't have to ask the Kent office. We don't have to put out a sort of forlorn plea from the commentary box. Is the one of the wonders is Liam is sitting behind us. So 88 overs today. So if we weren't to bowl the 88, presumably we could go beyond 6:30 for the extra half hour. But there we go. We'll see what happens.
Liam Knight, remember the name, folks. One of the all-time great. What's the job title, Liam? Communications and Content Executives in World Cricket, as Lyth opens the face and pushes that out just in front of point. There's a shy at the stumps, which misses, and they get through for a single. So Lyth on to 21, 36 for one his team, and now the lead is exactly 150.
I was going to say that. Well, I'm going to say it now, actually, but so I don't know why I prefaced that, to be honest. But Darren Stevens' interview last night was probably, he's unguarded, I think it's fair to say, Darren, but I think he said what needed to be said about Kent's performance yesterday in terms of, very blunt about not batting well enough. This is a strip where you should be getting 300 plus. A number of the top order, he said, will be gutted with their performances, and he said overall we didn't bat well enough. So I was going to ask Liam, it's be really unfair. It's the sort of thing that puts a communications executive, gives them the shivers.
Good delivery from Stuart as London plays and misses.
That's the job, isn't it? Is that sometimes you have to guard about what your players are saying as well. You want them to play a straight bat to these kind of things, but I think it's fair to say that he's done a good job for himself and the team, Darren, by just being brutally honest.
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, on my only previous trip here in 2019, we had a similar situation. It's the only one that's really arisen since I've been doing the job. I think I'll probably leave it at that. Stuart is in, and Lurton again, he's beaten with one that's clearly just a little bit of an offering down the hill. It's again impossible for us to tell from our position. We can only read where the keeper's taking the ball and what the batsman is doing, and then have a quick cheeky look back at the stream afterwards to check that our theory was correct.
I'm guessing that because you said no more than that, Jonathan, it may have been something involving the Yorkshire camp rather than the Kent camp. Am I fair to say?
It was.
Right. Okay. We'll leave it at that. That's fine. I was just searching my memory there, thinking, what? I don't remember. Was there? Yeah.
It was. It nipped away at that delivery, by the way. It was something that was said to me in an interview after one of the days' play here, which had a few. There was a talking point after it. Anyway, let's put it that way. So 36 for one Yorkshire, 150 in front. And
we're all of us just merely tiptoeing through this, aren't we, Jonathan? Let's face it. We're all trying to do the best. We're not trying to land anybody in it. I think that's the...
Well, that's the key, and we know that sports journalism and broadcasting is different to many other journalistic walks of life. If it was a political statement that had been made, then you and I would be able to sit here and regurgitate all that and go straight for the jugular. But it's...
you don't ask me. You don't do Paxman, do you? On sporting women, so just saying answer the question. You don't do that, do you?
No,
face it. But especially not if they're bigger than you.
I think you can get to the stage where you can ask the more difficult questions if you get to know people well enough.
Milnes to Lyth, defends it. There's no run, and it's 36-4-1, 150 ahead. He's not had much of the strike actually, has he, this morning since that first over where he hit 12 off Matt Milnes. But yes, those are the delicate arts, and of course for media staff as well. It's it's that, and obviously people at home want to know all the gossip, and quite rightly too. I'm exactly the same with what I have to say with Kent and with football teams as well, and your sporting teams. You want to know the nitty gritty and those little bits. But round the wicket comes Milnes to Lythe, but playing the offside, and there's no run. But I completely agree. I think there's an awful lot in relationships, isn't there? And I would say cricket does itself a great service in that respect of letting us have a lot of access to the players as well, and trusting them and us, to be honest, to
absolutely
do the right things.
I would say to that as well that cricket needs to do that.
Yeah.
County cricket certainly needs to do that. Test cricket, there's a lot more people around, there's a lot more scrutiny, but county cricket does need to be open, and I think it is.
As Milnes bowls to Lythe, that's neatly turned off his pads to square leg, and they'll take a single out there, 37 for 1. Fielder comes in from the square leg boundary. I believe that's Miguel Cummins there. He's got about 5 jumpers on. He's a big lad anyway, but he's broader than normal. 37 for 1. Lythe goes on to 22.
It's good to have these chats about the rudiments of the job while the game's going on, but I mean, you can't have everything, you can't take everything and give nothing back. So if Kent want the coverage from BBC Kent, and if Yorkshire want the coverage from the Yorkshire stations and whatever other counties, they need to give something back as well. And I think largely they do.
His Milnes to Lowton, defended into the onside, and there's no run. Almost that's Clarkson fielding at a shortish mid-wicket. Almost drew me into saying something nice about the governing body there, but
just steady on, old boy.
Felt a bit queasy. No, actually, seriously though, the ECB are part of this commentary process.
Absolutely, we're not sitting here if the ECB, yeah.
Absolutely right. It's so it is a partnership between the ECB, the BBC, and the clubs as well. And Milnes to Lowton 2 slips in behind him, wraps him on the pad. Looks like it was going down leg anyway, and it's going to be a leg bye. So they come through for 38 for 1. I didn't think my first morning's commentary at Canterbury this season I'll be praising the governing body. I mean, people are wondering about my affiliations and where there's been brown paper envelopes. But to be absolutely frank, there's absolutely no pressure on us. No. We are critical of the governing body when we see fit, and the clubs as well. There is absolutely no feeling that we are beholden to any of those. I want to make that clear to the listeners. Of course, they might be saying, well, he would say that anyway. Defended by Lythe, no run.
He probably would say that anyway, but no, it is definitely true. I can second that. And what I mean about clubs giving something back to us, if you like, spectators, apart from those who know players personally, they don't often get those little asides. For example, I mentioned Jordan Thompson saying to me this morning he didn't feel like he'd bowled as well as he could yesterday, first game back, blah 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 blah. I can come on air and say that. He knows that he sort of has got the trust in me to come on air and say that without selling him down the river, if you like. So there's a trust between player and journalist or commentator, which is good, which I think we have to work on ourselves in our role in the first instance, but then it also works both ways, and we can give those little bits of extra snippets from building a good relationship.
But first and foremost, we're here for you at home, so welcome wherever you are.
Indeed. Grant Stewart continues from the pavilion end, and Tom Lowton solidly behind this one once again.
Email from Lily on kentcricket@gmail.com. Good morning, Jonathan, Matt. Adam Lyon in great form. This was an early one, Lily. I apologise. I'm out of step here. Not the first time behind the times. Talking about Tom Coder-Capmore. Doesn't seem to be in form, says Lily as well. Young Tom Lowton batting well, building a good lead. Thank you for that, Lily. In Morton in North Yorkshire. You know what I'm going to say, Lily. If you've listened to me commentating before, family from Scarborough, and Morton's on the way from York on the train.
Stewart in, and that is on the hip of Tom Lowton, who steps across and works that down to fine leg and picks up a boundary. He's on to 12, 42 for 1, the lead 156. Yeah, good morning, Lily. And we've got a few others coming in.
York, Malton and Seamer, I remember, from those train journeys to visit Mother Dad's family in Scarborough. Back in the day, out to the seaside.
I don't think I've ever been to Seamer, which is always on the sign as you're driving.
I've been through it many times as a child, on the train, but there we go. Lovely part of the world, though.
Scarbados.
Oh.
nothing finer than the sound of seagulls, as Ben would have said yesterday, as Stuart's in and a bit of arm shouldering going on here from Lowton. There's no run.
Yeah, he's been told off for saying seagulls before, but, you know, we'll let him off. As you rightly said on the first day, herring gulls, aren't there? There's no such thing as a seagull.